The crumbling of the Ukay Centre in Westlands comes after a protracted battle to save the wetlands it stands on, a battle that began in the mid-90s when its construction began. Led by famed Nobel laureate Wangari Maathai and buoyed by government ministers, the battle to stop the construction failed, and the building was left standing but exposed to the elements of nature, as witnessed in the recent cases of flooding in the capital. NTV's Brenda Wanga explores a history of impunity that has finally been brought to a tumbling halt.
The life of the Ukay Centre in Westlands ended just as it had begun. This chance by Greenbelt movement activists who wasted no time in reclaiming this piece of the Kibarage wetland mirrored those that marked the beginning of the construction of the Ukay Centre in 1994. The centre's existence has been marred in controversy right from the beginning, prompting environmentalists then to put up a spirited but unsuccessful fight to stop the concrete tower from rising. Amongst those who fought against this construction was Nobel Peace Prize winner, the late Wangari Maathai.
I really can't understand why people want to do things that destroy this beautiful country. I can't understand why people think that it is much better to have tarmac instead of a beautiful environment.
Before the owners of the building began digging up its foundation, the National Environmental Management Authority had conducted an environmental impact assessment that year that had indicated that the area was indeed a wetland and was unsuitable for construction. That, however, did not stop the owners from carrying on with their works.
Both sides of the riverbed.
The government's opposition to the project was also registered, at least verbally. In 2009, then Lands Minister James Orengo was categorical.
If they have erected buildings and the buildings are not in accordance with these conditions, or according to the various statutes which I've read out, and which you'll have the benefit of reading through, anything that has violated any of these legislation or statutes are illegal structures. And when a structure is illegal, however big or small it is, the legal consequences is that it has to be removed.
The ministry had, just like NEMA, established that the project was being undertaken on top of a tributary that drained into the Nairobi River. That promise to demolish the Ukay Centre alongside Westgate and Oshawa centres came and went with no action. The fact that the building had encroached on riparian land was perhaps most evident when the floods hit the city recently. Floodwaters followed the natural course of the river and found their way inside the basement of the building. The owners of the building, however, have been insistent that they did everything right. The approvals and the construction was beyond reproach.
We have got all the approvals from '94. We have invested money. That property is worth more than 1 billion shillings, and we are just playing around with psychology. Today I had to bring my wife together with me because if I collapse here, she could at least take me home.
Unlike in the past when the owners have moved the courts to stop the demolition of the building, this time round the authorities didn't grant their wishes, and early Friday morning the dreaded bulldozers began the process of reclaiming the wetlands, much to the satisfaction of those who have been calling for the tearing down of what they have considered as a monument of impunity.
We bring our plants back, and that's why you have even a bamboo and any other plant that can bring the water back, because we look forward to a few years to come when our rivers again will flow, when we have our own dependent reclaimed as it was, as God needed it.
But their plans may have to wait until the demolition exercise is complete. Brenda Wanga, NTV.